Welcome to PGL. We have BB himself joining us on these high chairs. Can't reach the floor. Anyways, I want to ask you the exact same question. GB was like, oh, I don't think G2 is going to make playoffs. With this win, you've at least locked a tiebreaker, the bare minimum. Anything you want to say about that?
I think he's just a hater.
Fair.
That's about it.
That's a really hard-hitting analysis. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about your road back to Berlin. I mean, it's no secret that Madrid wasn't necessarily what you were probably looking for. No win under your belt there either. But then the road back to Berlin also had its own obstacles. Do you want to describe the road trip that you went on, maybe? Like, what did it look like? What is this?
I was actually on a different journey than the team because I was with my girlfriend. But I heard a lot of stories. I heard a lot of crazy stories. I mean, obviously, I think it's better at some point you ask some of the guys that were actually part of this, because it was crazy. It was a crazy story. I think you could make a movie out of it. Okay. Lavrov was apparently very funny, and Skumont couldn't stop laughing because he was saying, guys, he was very scared, and it was very funny to listen to. It's a very good story. Maybe we can even write a book about it.
Maybe you should write a book about it, because you're saying Lavrov was apparently very funny.
You can write the book for everyone else.
No,
you can be like the biographer for them.
I mean, it's a different story.
How I survived the Nocturnal IRL. That could be your title.
True. It was definitely the later it went to the day, the more scared I get, because you don't know what's going on. People are
sometimes just like in game. Exactly.
Sometimes it's just the last 2 weeks of G2 haven't been. Today is great. Yeah. Today is the first step forward to greatness. Is how I would like to describe. If I had to describe the chapter in my book right now, that would be the title.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys would read it.
I would read I'd read everything.
Would be a bestseller.
Okay, let's talk about this first step to greatness then, because it felt like today G2 is more like going back to basics, making sure that you guys are, holding on to that early game from start to finish, not letting go any of the leads, really making sure that you're hitting everything home and focusing on the fundamentals. Yeah. Would you say that's been your focus since Madrid anyway? No, I think it's not hard to say that we have been struggling. Mm-hmm. I think it's very apparent that we were on we're hitting like a wall. But I feel like yesterday actually we had a very, very good conclusion on why we are not the best right now. And I think this has given us a lot of clarity, and I feel like momentum as well to play as good as we did today, because frankly we didn't play this well in scrims this week. But I feel like just the talk we had made us play a lot better today, and I'm sure of it that it will lead us to play better in every single game from this point on in the split. So I'm very looking forward for the next week, where we actually have productive scrims and take on KC and SK, of course.
And in particular, thing we noticed quite a lot on the desk from game one, new patches through. Different objective timers. Feels like that's changed the way that you potentially swap around the map, some of the early matchups. You swapped lanes, top and bot, 4 times before 10 minutes. This is probably something that we'll see investigated more by teams. Is this something that you've been working off in the week? Is this something that you're aware of, kind of changing with other teams in Europe? I
mean, I think the swapping, ever since they did this first lane swap in China.
Lane swap detected.
I think it's very strong. It just gets you out of the laning phase, especially if one of the sides have a bad laning phase. You just get out of it. I'm playing Sign against Vladimir, and I don't want to lane against Vladimir. I'm better against the duo, and Vladimir is not. So might as well swap out of it, right? That's just how the game developed over the years, and that is why it's strong. And I also think the objective timers make it a bit more awkward to swap because it's a bit delayed on top side. It's 2 minutes delayed, but
especially when you're trying to figure that out in the middle of a season as well, when we already had changes to Grubs and the Atakan earlier in this year too. I'd imagine that throws a lot of chaos into the equation.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Grubs are different, so people are still figuring out how to play with them in the game. There's only one spawn of them, and you get it very early. And if you get it very early, you start hitting the towers, get some money, some investment. Get paid. So, yeah, it feels good, to be honest, this patch. The only thing I don't like, if you're wondering.
Yeah, go ahead, go crazy.
I don't know if you are. The only thing I don't like is the colors, actually.
You don't like the colors?
They confuse me a little bit.
Fair.
But like anything in life, you have to get used to it. Mm-hmm. And right now,
losing sometimes.
No, losing G2 and me especially, we don't get used to losing.
Okay, let's bring up the standings, because you guys did lose a couple of games, right? So 3 series in total, which puts you now at 4-3. So you're shared third with MKOI, Heretics, and yourselves. When you're looking at these standings, I would really like to start off with, coming into spring, did you expect it to look this way?
No.
Thought so.
I mean, I expected Fnatic and K-Corp to be strong. And I'm a bit like, I think the standings are very close actually. Like not on top of the standings, but like the middle of the standings. Obviously, there's only 6 teams going to playoffs, so I feel like it makes it much more interesting to watch these games and also like just cheer for your favorite team, because like for us, we are rarely in this position where we have to even fight for playoffs as G2. So for us, it's a different challenge, and we're going to take it with everything we got and make it through.
Who have you got your eyes on then, in terms of the other teams, like for you personally? In terms of personal connections, you've obviously played against a number of these players for many years. A number of the players you're playing against now are kind of looking up to you as like the Turkish top father as well, Nagnako and Lot and players like that. You've had a real influence on them. Do you think that, for instance, Nagnako you played against today, how do you feel about Vitality going towards playoffs?
I mean, I think, first of all, I think Nagnako's a very good player, very talented. And for Vitality, I feel like, I mean, they just have a new support, which they have to probably get used to on how they play the map. I think they have an idea on how they want to play, and I think they played good usually. I feel like today we just play much, much better than we usually do. But going into playoffs, I don't really, like, I feel like for us, it would be too selfish to look to playoffs right now. We first have to, get it. And the first team we have to beat is SK for that. And we're going to put our focus first on SK before we can even think about KC, because it's not guaranteed yet and we don't want to be too cocky. So we're going to be humble a little bit,
Okay, respect. We respect a humble king. When it comes to the teams, though, and the standings in general, which teams are you expecting not to be able to make it to playoffs, like, at all? Do you think, because it is pretty close.
I mean, I think BDS might not make it. GX might not make it. And everyone else who's below, I guess Rogue already out. So,
well, mathematically they're not like quite out. Like they're just about hanging on there, but they have
chance somewhere in another universe or in this universe or whatever universe. But it still leaves one more team.
There's SK, right?
Yeah, there is.
What is the standings right now? There's 3 and. Can we get a check on that?
We had that earlier. We can bring the standings back up maybe, because this is.
They're 2 and 4 actually. I can see it on the nice little screen.
Oh yeah.
Eyesight 2020. Okay. We'll get the standings at some point, and we'll come back to that discussion. And you're talking about yourselves and like how you don't want to be too greedy in terms of like looking forward and being in playoffs and whatever else that might be. But I would assume that the goal has always been playoffs. I mean, the goal is to win the split.
Oh, standings.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, for us, it's always to win the split, to be the best in Europe. And this is not like this objective didn't fade at any part of the split. Obviously, starting the split, we had a really great start, 3-0 into 0-3. It's not something we, usually, I feel like this was probably one of the longer losing streaks we had in recent times. But yeah, I mean, our objective is obviously to win. And I feel like it started today. I truly believe it. I feel like it was a very big breakthrough series we had. Not because of the gameplay, but because of how we mentally prepared for this game and hopefully also for the games in the future.
Yeah, well, we've seen the standings, and you're right. SK is also hovering towards that bottom, so I guess it means that you're just looking to amputate from, however it stands right now.
Yeah.
Respect. Right. I mean, Alex, looking at G2 today, we had a lot of discussions as well when we were sitting on the desk like, okay, well, it looks like they're back. It feels like they're back. Is there anything that you want to highlight here that you are thinking, okay, this is what I want to see less of?
In terms of seeing less of, I mean, I'm happy with a lot of stuff they showed today, so that's kind of hard to pick stuff out. So I look at this
Putting
and
you on the spot.
Yeah, because I mean, the last time we saw you guys, I wasn't a big fan of the last couple of drafts you had in Madrid. I think there's a little bit, you were cooking, but there was smoke coming from the kitchen maybe a little bit. I feel like that was a lot more stable today. Of course, I love that creativity, and I suppose if there is one thing to take away, it's to bring back some of that creativity in a way that we saw, but maybe some of the
yeah, because you did call him a meta slave.
I didn't say anything about that. I think that
What'd
was
you
an
have to say
Odo
to
quote.
that?
I didn't say anything about that. That was Odo Omni, our good friend. We can blame Odo Omni for that one.
Well, Odo Omni is not playing anymore, so.
Okay. On that note, if you've had enough League of Legends for today, if you haven't actually had enough League for today, because this was like a quick 2-0 for both games, the LTA is actually playing with 100 Thieves against Dignitas at 10 p.m. CST, so that should be pretty soon. The LTA is going to be back tomorrow with Heretics against Fnatic and SK against MKOI. Both of these teams have a chance to lock themselves into playoff, MKOI and Heretics being, and SK, if they somehow manages to actually snatch away the win from Fnatic, then, you know, it's looking really good for them, and BDS and Rogue will be eliminated. So, high stakes all around. You genuinely don't want to miss it. We're going to be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. And until then, take care of yourselves.
He's alone mid. I cannot. S-flash.
I'm looking W.
Yeah. I see that. Really good. Can you give me ball?
I am
maybe.
okay.
I go. No flash.
Is it?
TP mid. Can we look to TP as well?
I can one shot him. I can one shot him, guys. Trust me. Okay, go. Okay. Go for shorty.
Here.
Nice.
Good job, guys.
It's the grand entrance, but no grand exit for him. The fight goes in Giant X's favor as Noah finds the final shot.
Down the door.
Nice!
Nice.
Did you watch me?
Nice.
Go back, look.
Yeah, double shit.
I'm gonna go on a zero, okay?
Steady. Okay, steady. I got it steady? Yeah, double steady.
Nice, good job. Nice! Good job.
I was editing again a bit, but good job, guys.
Thank you.
Knock goes alive, but for how much longer? The Avengers are here. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll flash back. No, I won't flash. Destroy. I'm looking. Alice next.
Yeah, yes, they cannot TP, guys, okay? They can scoot. Nice.
Flash.
Let me go through. I'm going more.
No flash. Yes, flash. Good.
Nice. Very good, guys. Nice. Keep it up, okay?
Nice.
Very nice game, okay? Good job. We're back.
Vitality has to back off the back off. Broken Blade looks for the demolition. Wants Nako. The burst of flash. Father, big cat son. How could you do this to him? He was supposed to be the one.